David Eatley here from Cycling Inform, and I wanted to talk a little bit about our training philosophy. And I think really where our training philosophy has come from was a big influence from a movie that I saw quite a few years ago as an influential teenager, and it was a Karate Kid, and in it Miyagi and Daniel are working together on a goal, and that goal is Daniel's getting beaten up. I think he's getting beaten up, or he's having some issues, and so he sees that karate being the way in which he can defend himself and resolve some of those issues for him. So the interesting thing about that is that movie has got some fantastic stories in it and some fantastic messages. But one of the big messages is, well, there's actually two messages that I really like in that video. And the first one is that Miyagi gets Daniel to do all these basic exercises. We talk about the wax on, and the wax off, and Daniel thinks that he's just being cheated, and but Miyagi had a big purpose, and it was around technique, being able to develop very, very strong intuitive technique. And of course, when Miyagi got Daniel to start going through some of the exercises with karate, he'd already developed the technique. You're right. So that was the first thing, and our training philosophy is very much like that. We talk a lot about technique. Technique's fundamental for developing really, really good cycling power. So a lot of our training methodology is based around developing that real foundation of technique, and it's something that really doesn't happen very quickly for a lot of people, but we've been able to accelerate that process with our methodology and implemented some really fantastic tools via video learning to help you with that. Now, the second message is the whole thing about the sort of the good and the evil. We have Miyagi and Miyagi's style of karate on one side, and then on the other side they have that kind of that fight club mentality where they're kind of like brute force and arrogance and those sort of things, and we see that play out in the movie, and we see Daniel obviously going through the process of battling with that, and really going to the depths of despair with it, and then finally trumping over the top of it. And certainly our methodology is, you don't necessarily have to go into the depths of despair, but certainly our methodology is around coaching support and making sure that you're not becoming a victim to your training, and making sure that every session doesn't have to be really super hard, that there is a lot of enjoyment and a lot of craft associated with your training. And we develop and really work on harnessing that and developing that within yourself, your passion for cycling, understanding that obviously you're not a professional rider, and that this is an enjoyment activity for you, and obviously we want you to be the most successful that you can be, but doing it in a very nurturing, supportive sort of environment, similar to sort of what Daniel went through. He had Miyagi working with him in a very nurturing, supportive sort of environment, rather than the whole fight club mentality where they were in there and it was very very authoritarian, and very very aggressive. So we're certainly not the aggressive. We're very much in a supportive environment, and certainly we've had some fantastic results with our online training centre, and it's been a great pleasure to be able to work with the amazing athletes that we've had the opportunity to work with. So anyway, I thought I'd just talk a little bit about our methodology and how it fits into our training centre.